Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the studios of Grafton Community Television. This is Meet the Candidate. I'm Bob Totoma. My guest this afternoon is probably familiar to you. Her name is Anne-Marie Foley. She's the current Select Board Chair, and she's a member of the Master Plan Working Group and the trustees of Soldiers and Sailors Memorial. Good afternoon.
Good to see you.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good, good. So you're running for Select Board.
I am running again.
So how does that thought process work? Were you like, no matter what happens, I'm going to run again, or is it an elongated thought process?
Yeah, I started thinking about it in the new year, I would say. I mean, not that I hadn't been thinking about it prior to that, but, I think I pretty much knew I was going to run, but I didn't just not think about it at all. I definitely put some thought into, what the next 3 years of my life look like, more so than, what the Select Board would look like. So I'm going to be 60 shortly, and so kind of just moving into a bit of a different chapter and with retirement potentially and whatnot. So those were my thoughts, were more relative to how this would fit into, my kind of next chapter. So yeah, I was pretty much all in, with the exception of just tweaking that or thinking about, did I want to commit the 3 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does it feel sitting in that middle seat?
I am glad that I did it. I thought that I would be able to chair the committee in such a way that, just promote open discourse amongst the board, in addition to people that come in to speak to us. And I think that I achieved that goal. So, some nights are a little bit more challenging than others, because the good thing about this board is it is made up of 5 very different people. So people coming at issues from different directions, right? So trying to be sure that people are heard while making sure that we're all respectful and cordial at the end of the day. So, some meetings, there's no problem, and then other times it's just a bit more challenging. But yeah, I'm glad I did it, and I feel that I achieved what I set out to achieve.
Not only are you seated in the middle, but do you, like my personal opinion, sometimes you seem as if you are the middle. You're not too far one side here, you're not too far one side there. Do you feel that way too? Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I think it really is, Bob. And I appreciate that, as a matter of fact, because I remember when I was running last time, there was some chatter online, relative to where my signs were and who they might be next to and whatnot, and questioning, kind of what I'm about. And I feel that I am just truly open to listening on all the issues. I mean, I come in with some opinions, obviously, but yeah, I do feel that I kind of run that middle of the road, and I'm willing to look at both sides of all the issues.
Yeah, interesting. What are you hearing from the voters in town when you talk to them or when you run into them?
I seem to run into a lot of people all the time. Yeah. I mean, I'm out and about a lot, so I think that helps. So I think that everyone has their own set of priorities, or what they might want to see the town do better in, or do more of. So yeah, I speak to people all the time. I mean, I go out on a walk daily, and I'll see someone, and invariably we'll talk about something relative to the town. So I think that for the most part, I think people are pleased with how the Select Board has looked, this year. And while some decisions, not everyone agrees with, I think that folks can see that we have been open and transparent, right? While deliberating and while trying to figure out what the right answer is. And actually, maybe it's not the right answer. At the end of the day, the best answer that we could come up with. So yeah, I am out there engaged and talking to people as much as I can. And I feel that people, I hope, know that I'm, approachable, and I'm never going to shut them down type thing. But
no one topic comes to mind when those conversations come up. It's all over the place?
Oh, it's a myriad, yeah. I've got someone reaching out to me about George Hill Road, about a crack at the pickleball court, about some graffiti over in North Grafton now at the bridge. So yeah, it's a lot of different things. And then I try to either direct them in the lane that, might best take care of that issue, or I'll reach out myself to Evan and say, hey, is there something we can do about this? So yeah, no, I mean, obviously when there's topics on different boards, the chatter might be a little bit more relative to that in a specific week, but no, boy, there's a lot of folks out there looking at a lot of different things, which is great, you know? Yeah.
When you get told that there's a crack at the pickleball court, do you go take a look at it, or do you just...
I happened to look at it. Yeah, I went down there because I was curious, and actually what led me then to look at the tennis court as well, and then there was some trash and whatnot. So spoke to Daryl about it, spoke to Evan, and yeah. So when I was told there was graffiti and the person sent me a picture of it, I swung by. So yeah, I do a lot of drive-bys as well.
Yeah, it helps to put it in perspective as opposed to just taking it secondhand without actually witnessing it.
And just recently, and actually I think it's something that's on the warrant that I've been questioning, is at High Point Estates, they're looking at the open space and taking that back as the town. Someone mentioned, a gentleman who came to our meeting mentioned a barn that had been, was just in disrepair and falling into the earth. So it's another instance where I just took a drive over there and it's like, wow, I didn't know that was there, So yeah, it's helpful for me to actually see whenever I can.
So jumping ahead, assuming you're elected, what are the priorities coming forward?
I mean, one big thing that comes up a lot still, and this was something I ran on my first time around, and I am again, is just how do we get information to people in a wide variety of, relative to a wide variety of things, right? Paying taxes, opportunities for getting involved, so many different things. And that we still hear that, oh, I didn't know that this happened on that day. When did we vote on that? I think there was something just online recently, and I responded. It was at town meeting, 2 years ago. So, how do we do better in that realm? And I've been working on it. I've come up with a lot of different ideas and kind of just seeing some of those ideas through, such as the signboard that I presented to the board early on when I got on, kind of that town sign notion. Getting stuff out to the seniors via the mailing that they do or the newsletter, that maybe there could be a blurb in there. I've talked to Evan about that. So that's one big thing that I still want to try to fix and just have it so that no one says to me, geez, we didn't know we were spending X on Y,
How were those Ask Me Anything sessions going? Are you happy with those?
Yeah, I think, the intent is great, and sometimes there's just not a lot of attendance. The last time I did one with Matt wasn't too long ago, within, maybe it was last quarter. And we only had really a couple of people come, and then we had a few other folks show up kind of specifically because of some online chatter that was happening. So, but still, even with just a handful of folks, I learned some information about Little League and challenges that they were having with various things in their realm. So, I think that they're certainly more valuable. They are still valuable. And it's an opportunity, right? We're putting ourselves out there. And it's, so I think we should continue with it. Mark and I had one at one point that was very well attended. That was over in South Grafton. So yeah, even if just a handful of folks come, I think it's still worth it. And select board members that seem to be willing to go out and do it still. So yeah.
What did you take away from the budget process this year?
Well, I went into the process speaking to Evan strongly about, for me to have to talk to taxpayers about an override, increasing taxes further, I certainly was going to have to be, sold, so to speak, on it. And in selling me, that would be showing me that we have really looked at minimizing expenses and maximizing any revenue, that being creative or what have you. And so I'm happy that that's what happened, that the town administrator and the superintendent of schools really looked hard at their budgets and came up with some creative revenue streams, while also, making some cuts. And that's not to say that it's not painful, and that, obviously Dr. Cummings made it clear that, next year when we're here again, these cuts are not going to be, and not to diminish the cuts that were currently made for this budget cycle, but the next set, of course, were going to be very detrimental. So, so I'm glad that for the taxpayer, we were able to show that school committee, select board, and finance committee met at length about this, talked at length at our board meetings about this. This wasn't something that just all of a sudden, happened in March or April. I mean, I've been talking to Evan about budget since the fall. So I think that, it's good for the taxpayers to be able to see how that played out and that no one really walked away a winner, right? Everybody is going to feel a little bit of something from this, but we can then come back next year, and if we need something, I feel that at least the taxpayers can say, you know what, they did what they could last year, right? And now it seems that we really need something. So, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I'm not talking about an override right now for next year at all. So I think it was a valuable process. I think that having all three boards meet those couple of times and kind of, moving away from the TRICOM idea slightly, was beneficial. And I really appreciated that everyone came to the table, even though everyone had different things at stake, with a somewhat open mind, right? And that we were all able to collaborate on it.
Yeah. So I'm going to throw a totally random question at you. Grafton is a sailboat.
Okay.
Do you stay?
Today's a good day for being in a sailboat.
Stay the course, adjust the sails, or choose a new course?
That's a great question. I think that I'm not averse to choosing a new course. And I think even Dr. Cummings looking at this new revenue stream relative to the medically fragile population is something that's a bit of a different course. In addition to Evan's and Mary Lauria's idea of the trash, different enterprise fund relative to waste. So I think there can be potentially a little bit of both. But yeah, I'm not opposed to looking at things differently for sure. That's the benefit of having, different people on the board and maybe changeover, over periods of years on boards and just bringing in some new ideas and maybe we're not looking at it the right way. I did go to the MMA conference in January, and I do try to reach out to other select board members that I know in the area.
Just tell everybody what that means, MMA.
Oh, sorry, the Massachusetts Municipal Association Conference. Yeah, make sure I get it right. Because I do ask that, like, hey, how are you guys doing this? What does this look like over there? So, yeah, if there's other ways to look at this out there, then great.
So you're familiar with this part. I'm going to turn this over to you, and your camera's over there, and you can talk to the viewers at home, and this is your time.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, GCTV, Bob, Bill, as always, for having me. I thought you were going to ask me, one of the questions might be like, what did I learn out of all of this? And one of the things is, to your credit, is I was curious about being on film, on camera at the meetings all the time. And I really appreciate the way that you guys handle this and make it feel just very benign. So I appreciate that. So thank you for having me. And thank you, Grafton, for having me for the last 3 years. It's been my pleasure to be on the select board. It certainly has been an honor to be the chair of the select board over the past year. I'm here to ask for your vote on May 20th. You can register to vote up until May 2nd, I believe it is. And then after that, there will be opportunity for absentee voting if you can't get there on the 20th. But I hope that you will consider me as a candidate for select board for the next 3 years. And it has been an honor to serve the town in this capacity. Thank you.
Thank you for your time this afternoon.
Okay, thank you.
This has been Meet the Candidate. On behalf of all of the talented people that work here at Grafton Community Television, I'm Bob DeToma. Thank you for watching.